So I'm not sure about why I didn't start the video before going underwater, but on my way down, um, the water is pretty good. Pretty good for the first 60 to 70 feet. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go pretty quickly here in a second because I don't really have a whole lot to report from the perspective of visibility. It's it's okay. The description says it best. Fortunately, the water temperature was pretty consistent the whole way, and I'm wearing a dry suit, so it doesn't have too much effect on me. Because we are on the way to the bell, there's a lot of kicking to get done, and as such, I am going to speed through a lot of this. Once I got to the wall here, I wanted to show that we went from the poker table to the wall. Once we got to the wall here at about this point right here, stop and see a catfish, so watch this for a little bit until it swims up and away. The 360 camera was kind of difficult to make sure it looked good, but yeah, it swam up the wall. Then we continued going down, and the visibility got so bad that the color correction of the video editing software had a hard time figuring out what the actual color was. So you have a bunch of white balance challenges. However, once we get through this pretty bad murkiness section where I had to be 6 to 12 inches from the wall to make sure I didn't get lost, because the murkiness was, the silt was pretty bad here. It then started to clear up at about 30 meters, 27.9, 28 meters. And so we continued on, going down the wall. And I think I speed up here once we've broken through the silt. Yeah, speed up a little bit until we get to the soy sauce bucket. Once I see that, we turn and head north. And the visibility is so relatively clear that you can almost see the frame for the bell from the soy sauce bucket. So we head over there. And hopefully everyone can see the frame, and you'll notice that I bumped a line going to the frame, so the dust or the silt comes off the line there for a second. Then we do a little bit of communication, and instead of going to the rail, we just head back. These guys hadn't been to the bell before, and as you can tell by the depth, the bell isn't terribly deep. But I didn't know their gas consumption and wasn't going to mess around too much, so we just went back to the soy sauce bucket. Once I get to the soy sauce bucket, we just go reverse up the wall and across, and so I am really going to zip through our ascent back to the surface. We had some communication issues on when we were going to cut across to the River of Styx, and as such I fell behind and eventually caught up with them again. And as you can tell, we are 7 minutes into the video, but actually 21 minutes have passed in this dive. Again, I had to stay pretty close to the ground to make sure that I saw what was going on. And we kept going and actually missed the poker table coming back up. So we were coming up, and we eventually get to the line here in a moment. And as we get to the line, all of a sudden the O-ring on my button SPG fails, and so I've got gas leaking. So I quickly shut off my left tank, which is my dill bottle. But fortunately, because we're ascending, I don't really need it, and we were at 6 meters when that happened. So I had enough gas where I had all I needed was oxygen to continue to keep my PO2 level up, so I didn't need diluent. So I just continued up. I got to the surface and reseated the button SPG a couple times, and it kept failing until I just went up and put a new O-ring on the button SPG, and that fixed the problem. And this about concludes my dive for the 1st of November.